All right, so before we get started, I just want to get a show of hands. How many people here have photographed a concert before? Okay, nice, nice amount of people. How many people have a camera but want to photograph a concert, their first show? Okay, yeah, I recommend it. We're biased. Who here is starting their photography journey, like wants to maybe explore getting into photography and shooting concerts? Okay, so I think there's a good mix of skill levels. So we're not going to get too into the weeds about like how to use Lightroom or any of that. We're going to talk kind of high level, like getting the gear, kind of shots you want to take. But yeah, maybe next year we'll have a Lightroom panel. But yeah, this is really going to just be how to get into the scene and what kind of shots to look out for, and how to pitch yourself to get into the scene more with a venue, with a staff of a artist, all that stuff.
And we do want to say there's like no official manual for this job, so this is really like our experience, things that we've been through. And also we will have a Q&A at the end, so if you have questions, maybe just hold on to them and then we will get to it at the end. We did time ourselves practicing this, so it's going to be tight. We got it. Okay, so what we're going to cover. This will vary for everyone depending on your adventure, which we'll explain at the end, but we'll cover the gear, how you can go about getting your first gig, generally how to do it to an extent, like you do need some concept of photography, but that grows with experience. We'll talk about how to get the shot, give you some tips and tricks for shooting in high energy environments. And then towards the end, we will explain different avenues or adventures you can go on with photographing live music. So before we go, who are we?
All right, I wanted to wear my Claire Obscure cosplay today, but I figured if this is going on YouTube, maybe I'll save it for tomorrow. But that's me, Mauricio. I've been photographing concerts for about 10 years now. I do it as a part-time capacity, but I've photographed all over town, like small DIY venues and basements and houses, to arenas and theaters, amphitheaters. I photographed South by Southwest, Newport Folk Festival, All Things Go. I also photographed Elton John last year at the Gershwin Prize, awarded by the Library of Congress. Photographed Joni Mitchell, but I've also photographed nerdy artists like Anna Monoguchi and Bit Brigade and Triforce Quartet. So yeah, I'm not pandering at all. Yeah, know your audience, exactly. Sarah, you want to go ahead?
Yeah, so I've also been shooting for about 10 years. I don't exclusively shoot music, but it was one of the ways that I started building a professional photography career. I love shooting music festivals and capturing people, like getting crowd reactions. And my favorite thing to do is challenge myself with pyrotechnic shots, so like fire and fireworks, because it's never the same and it's very hard. I do shoot more like DJ EDM type shows, so if you have a question, like remember that at the end maybe, if you have a question. I'm the nightlife that's loud and wubby, and he's
different nightlife.
Indie rock, I don't know, two different nightlives. I also do video too, so just context. I like to say my brain is split into half photo, half video, but I know that's not like how science works. It's just how I explain it to people. Okay, should we go to the next one?
Yeah.
Your first
All right,
gig.
So the first thing we're talking about, finding your first gig. So this is going to be everything from getting the right gear to how do you shoot your first gig, like where do you go, and then also talk a little bit about pit etiquette, photo pit etiquette, how to behave as a concert photographer.
Mm. So first, what you'll need, gear. You need something to take photos. So I always recommend starting with used gear. If you can afford it, it's always nice to have shiny new gear. There are times where I'm glad I bought shiny new gear because it has lived forever. But used gear is great, and honestly, technology has exploded so quickly in the last few years. You don't even need a mirrorless camera. You can have a mirrored camera. We both started on Canon 60 Mark II, and you can get that pretty cheaply still used. Used for $170 on B&H. So almost your MAGFest badge. You can get a camera. And when it comes to the nitty-gritty of selecting a camera, I always recommend looking at its low light capability. Some cameras have more megapixel, but that doesn't mean it's better in low light. I'm not going to go too deep into it, but look into the low light capability if you're specifically looking to this type of photography. And then software. Oh, and you can rent gear too. Aperture Rent is in DC. I think they have they're nationwide, so they have 2 other locations, but the DC location is great. They're also the cheapest. I think we both use Aperture Rent.
Yep.
Yeah.
I've rented from Aperture Rent in downtown DC multiple times for gigs where I just don't have the lens. And sometimes when you're in a fake it till you make it scenario where you're like, you have the chops, but you've never shot like a show from the back of an orchestra, for example. That's where I went, Aperture Rent, to get one of those big lenses, the 100-400, and shot my first orchestra show, even though I didn't have the portfolio for it. I just went there and really just launched from there.
Yeah, that's kind of the fun part of this job, right? It's like fake it till you make it in a way. It's like, oh yeah, I can shoot this, and you show up and it's like, oh, this is not the right lens for this.
Yeah.
But then you learn and you take it with you to the next thing. Okay, and then software. I was trained on Lightroom, and I will say if you're working on a festival team, again, I'll get to the choose your adventure within music photography at the end, but most festival teams use Lightroom. But you can also, if you're shooting for just the venue or the artist, you can do whatever the hell you want. So you can also use Capture One, and I guess you use Darktable, right? Yeah.
I mean, but for simplicity's sake, Lightroom is usually the go-to for like recommending editing equipment, editing tools. So, yeah, that's what you'll see a lot.
Yeah. Okay. Next.
All right. So, where to first? You have your camera, but how are you going to find a place to shoot? The easiest thing that you can do is, in most cases, find a sub 200 capacity venue in the DC area. That's Songbird, that's DC9, Pie Shop, The Pocket. And you can see Songbird, the top right photo over here. That's the size we're talking about. More often than not, you can have a ticket, and if you have a ticket, you're allowed to bring your camera, and they don't care. I've done this myself before. I've told friends this before, other starting photographers. As long as you check their website or call them beforehand to find out their photo policy, you can bring in your camera and get right up front. And I'm going to have some examples also of shots that I've done from that room in there. But as you can see, you have to also get there early because there is no photo pit. But I think that's, you learn through adversity sometimes. But yeah, that's like the easiest way. I think if you have a more established portfolio, you could reach out directly to an artist, and we'll talk more about pitching yourself later. But you could go through the artist, send them a message on social media, say, hey, I have a portfolio, I'd like to shoot for you, and they can usually set you up if they agree to it. This photo on the bottom right is actually from an outdoor park. It was like a family Friday afternoon thing in Silver Spring, but it's a local cover band. There's always local bands that are looking for social media coverage, photos of some sort. All it takes is a good portfolio and a professional DM. But again, don't bring your camera just anywhere. 930 Club in the DC area won't let you. Union Stage won't let you unless you have a photo pass. But you can, in most cases, bring your camera to a smaller venue without an issue. But again, check with your local venue.
Yeah, and I will say to this too, don't be afraid to take photos in these venues where you're allowed to. And it's probably easy to feel like, oh, I shouldn't be doing this, or like, I don't belong. But if you're allowed to, you should go for it. And you'll learn as you go how much is too much, like maybe I should put my camera down. Like you learn the cadence of, am I being annoying or not? Like, am I being respectful of people around me, And then to the point of shooting for local people, it's kind of a gift. Actually, photography, people don't realize, but photography is a luxury. I know it doesn't feel like that because we all have iPhones and we can just snap photos, but photography is like a luxury item. Not everyone gets the chance to have it. Like even family portraits, and people don't have like nice family portraits.
Yeah.
I think most people don't have nice family portraits. So yeah, it is like a gift you can give somebody too. Okay, so speaking of that, pit etiquette. We call it pit etiquette, but this is also like whatever space you're shooting in general. I would want to talk first about sharing the space. So typically when you're in these pits, it's not just going to be you shooting. There's going to be Getty Images, there's going to be a venue photographer, there's going to be other people. And you want to be really mindful of the hierarchy And again, there's no manual for this job, but this is the hierarchy I believe exists, which is the artist photographer, so who the artist hired, and then the venue photographer, and then journalist, blogger, Getty Images, so on and so forth. That being said, it's not like, yes, artist photographer, please stand here. We'll all take turns. It's all just about rotating and allowing people to get the shot. You just don't want to be new and blocking the artist photographer, because that's not going to go well. There are some times where they'll be camping and they're not being thoughtful. We're going to let them, we're going to do that. We're going to put it in our back pocket.
Sometimes there'll be a time when there is a photographer who is right in front of the singer, and there's so much equipment on stage that they are blocking the one spot that you can grab a photo from the pit. And this happened to me at 930 Club a few years ago, that there were 5 of us photographers and one of the venue photographers who was there. And not only were they standing there for the whole 3 songs that you're allowed there, because normally you get the first 3 songs in the photo pit, he also then just took cell phone video while the rest of us with our cameras was like, you have to share the space. Like, this is ridiculous. Don't be that person. Share the space. I always will just be like, hey, you want to sit over here, or you want to take my spot? Like, I'll just kind of signal because it's so loud in there.
Yeah, it's a lot of miming.
Yeah, miming, just fingers,
So share with people. Putting the camera bag down. Sometimes if I'm shooting a festival and there's a big pit and I have a lot of places to be, I don't put my camera bag down. But that's because I know I'm not going to whack anybody with it. But if it's small, like 930.
This is tiny.
Yeah, if you can see the photo up there.
The singer is right, and the singer and the fans right there, and there is no space. I took this photo a few years ago at the old U Street Music Hall. We were kind of just shimmying around each other, but not trying to fall towards the stage or fall back towards the fans. You don't want to have your camera bag on you in this situation.
Yeah, and also mad respect for people shooting in this tight quarters, because it's not just dodging people, finding the shot, it's also not tripping on all the cables and monitors and speakers. And then, so I actually think shooting a small venue is more stressful than a big show, but.
You learn through adversity.
Yeah. We walked, so we ran, so we could run more. What's the? I don't know. Okay, the next thing is befriend security staff. So this one, I kind of thought more about it just with my experiences as a woman in this industry. Gosh, I wish things were equal. No, they are not. And no one told me this. My mentor didn't tell me this. This is just something I found out, which is go up to the security guards that are guarding the pit or that are around the venue and make really good eye contact. Shake their hand, be like, so nice to meet you. Let them get a good scan of your face. Because the last thing you want to do is be late to your set or trying to get to your artist, and the guard is like, oh, who are you? What's this? Where's your thing? And you're like, it's right here, actually. I'm supposed to be here. And then they just look at you like, what is this 13-year-old girl doing in this pit? So just say hi. It makes it easier for you. And the next thing is no flash. This varies per venue, but I would just be mindful of it. I would say usually there's never flash. The only time I've used flash is when I'm behind the DJ and they turn around and they're like, yay, family photo. And that's when I use flash, but otherwise I never use it. And next thing is ignore the distractions around you. This is like the inverse of don't trip on everything. You should pay attention to everything around you, but also don't let yourself get distracted. And this is a tough one too, because sometimes there will be people in the crowd that actually genuinely need help. They need security, they need water. So it's it's a dance. You want to make sure that people behind you are okay, but you're also not failing at your job. There have been times where someone's tapping on me trying to get my attention, and I think they're just I don't know, drunk or messing around, whatever. But they're and then I see and they're screaming. They're like, no, we need help. So it's a mix.
But you also get people are asking oh, what do you shoot with? What's your camera?
Yeah. What are you shooting on? What's your lens? And I'm like, that's Lord. Shh. Quiet. Well, you shot Lord.
Yeah, I shot Lord.
I secretly shot Lord. But.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah, check your ego at the door. Kind of like I was saying, there's a hierarchy, sort of, but like we're all here doing the same thing, doing what we love, trying to get art, make art. We together make art, so be nice together. And you just never know who anybody is, you know. You might be talking to the most famous DC music photographer and have no idea, and then he kickstarts your entire career, and wow.
Foreshadowing for a later slide.
And the last thing is, it's pretty simple. Don't share your credential online. Credential is this thing. It's okay now because the events are done.
One-time use only. That's okay.
Yeah. But yeah, do not post. Be like, oh my God, look at me at the Kanye. Like, yeah, because it's also a security hazard. It's not just that it's unfair or whatever. It's kind of ruining the industry for everybody else. Kind of like when high schools had to install like security monitors. It's like someone had to ruin it, so now we need 5 of these per show. It's like, yeah.
What happens is that someone posts on their Instagram story, photographing X tonight, or whoever, but then someone else could be seeing that photo pass, make their own version, turn it into an adhesive, stick it on their shirt, and go to the security being like, you know, but they didn't actually go through, like they were just sneaking in, like the Kanye thing a few years ago.
Yeah.
Or like I think it happened at some NBA match or something also. But the moral of the story, don't share your pass. I keep all my passes. I have like a nice binder full of all of my photo passes from the last 10 years. But just don't share it online.
Yeah, that's actually a nice way to commemorate it, is have like a cork board or a little journal. You just stick it in there and you can look back like, oh, look what I did. So, Kai, your turn.
All right. So we're going to talk about getting the shot now that everyone knows how to behave in the photo pit and everyone has their gear. How do you get those shots? So we're going to talk about a couple of different types. We're not going to get into the editing again, but we're going to talk about some techniques you can use and prepare for when you get in there. All right, so the first type we want to talk about is split-second shots. This can be a lot of things. It could be emotions. It can be screaming your lungs out. A lot of it is luck and planning, and sometimes it just won't go your way, and sometimes it will. But the important thing to know here is that just taking a photo of someone holding their guitar is not going to be a compelling shot at all times. Something like where you're catching a moment of emotion here, either between the artists or the artist with the crowd, like knowing those right parts is really, really important. So for example, this photo on the left, this is Pup and Jeff Rosenstock at the Anthem. They were singing a song together. They were running around the stage, and I was on a corner of the photo pit where I could get, like, they were like on one side of the stage, but I was on the other side of the pit, so I could get a good head-on image as they like were going, I guess, parallel to the crowd. They were facing my direction, not towards the crowd. So I was able to get both of their faces in this shot, and it was a very split-second moment. I had a really good shutter speed, but I was ready for them to kind of just like get together because they were looking at each other. Just a little bit of like preparation, like looking at them is like, oh, they're about to do something. You know, that's what you want to try looking for, like moments of emotion and just a little bit of planning to know like when they're going to sing some stuff together. The bottom middle photo is actually a photo from Songbird, that venue that I said you could just walk in with a camera. So like anyone can get a shot like this, provided with the right editing and all of that. But this is just, you can see a nice little silhouette of the singer, Lido Pimienta, and you can see her mic, she's just singing like a high note into the sky with her mic in the air with a one spotlight coming down. You know, she put her microphone down right after that, but like, these are the moments that you want to try capturing. Not just someone holding their mic, but how are they holding it? What are they looking at? Like, what kind of lighting situations do you have going on?
Yeah, that's such a great shot for a small venue. It looks like you were in like an orchestra stadium or something. It looks so beautiful. And then there's some moments where you might be on the wrong side of the stage, or you're trying to avoid all the photographers crowding on one side, so you go to the other side just to like not be overstimulated for 2 seconds. But sometimes the universe will gift you, and you are in the right spot. So sometimes you'll just get a shot. Like the one on the far right, what is this? I actually don't even know.
Peach Pit. It's Peach Pit.
I took this photo. I didn't know. I don't know who the band is, but I remember I was really stressed out in this moment. This was like a high energy band. I'm like, there's a lot happening. Hey. So I actually didn't think I got this photo when I saw the moment, and then I looked later. I was like, oh, I did get them kissing. I thought when you shoot, for photographers, if you take a photo of people kissing, but like you just miss it, you get like right before or right after. That's what I thought happened, but no, I got it. So sometimes you'll surprise yourself. And then the top photo is Nostalgics at Soundcheck. We love you, Soundcheck. Her hair was flipping crazy, and I really like the contrast of her red hair with the blue lights. And Soundcheck is a bit tough with lighting. You never really know what's going to happen. So sometimes overshooting in there, and you'll just get magical surprises, like her hair flying with the lights coming forward, and yeah.
I just want to give a couple tips. I mentioned a couple already, but just want to reiterate some tips for catching these split-second moments. So it helps to know the song sometimes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I look at the set list and I'm like, okay, what are the 3 songs I'm going to be able to get while I'm in the photo pit? Oh, I know this song, or I know like something happens in this chorus or a guitar solo or something. So I know when the guitar solo happens, be in front of the guitarist, not the singer. Look what like just everyone in the band is doing. Just kind of like get an idea. Like, do they look like they're about to go off on each other in the crowd in a fun way? You know, something like the photo on the left. Just like do your homework, but just know that you're not always going to get these kinds of shots. I've had moments where I'm like right in there and in front of a moment that I really, really like, and then I look at my photos afterwards and I'm like, oh God, it's blurry, I can't use this. Like nothing is focused and I just have to throw it away. So just know that even with planning, you will come up unlucky sometimes, but also you'll have moments where you weren't planning on getting a shot and then you were just in the right place at the right time. But it definitely helps to do your homework a little bit beforehand, know the band, know the songs. You have to ruin the magic by going on like Setlist FM, but like it's, I think it's worth it to get shots like this.
And I will say we'll get into the choose your own adventure. There's so many different levels to what we do, but you may not have the pleasure of seeing the set list ahead. You may not even know I didn't know who Peach Pit was. I was just kind of going with it. So you do have to like love this, like love music, love the moments, be able to, maybe you did marching band, you know how to count, like 8 counts, like, or maybe you know how house music works and you just like hold out for 32 count. Like you never know what's going to happen. But if you have the opportunity to know the artist, it's good to know them. But you'll also get good shots even if you don't know what's happening. It's okay. Okay, so to that point, we're going to talk about composition. So very like rule of thirds vibe, if you guys know about that, negative space. But we're going to focus here more on like how to use the stage and subjects to your benefit. So for example, on the left, it's a photo I took of bleachers. They are also extremely high energy. I love Jack Antonoff. And he has set pieces that I know for a fact he stands on, he jumps off of, he climbs. So I thought this photo was compelling because he's right under the light. You have some dynamic lighting. And it's a whole band, by the way. There's like 5 other people on this stage, but this was just like his moment. And then I guess these are your photos, so I'll let you talk about them. But can I just say, the top one of Magdalena Bay, oh my God, the timing to get her dead center in front of the screen is impeccable. This is like the impetus, like the most difficult part of shooting. I know Magdalena Bay is not a DJ, but any DJ is like, what's happening on the screen behind them? Does that work with what's happening in front? And you like nailed that shot. It's so great.
Thank you. I mean, you can't edit a well-composed photo. You have to use your eyes. Like when I'm in the photo pit, I use my eyes. I don't look through the camera to frame some of these shots. Like I'm like, okay, so for example, Magdalena Bay, the top middle one, I know that I am in one corner of the photo pit and the video screen that she's behind is on the other corner. If I stand diagonal from it and I wait for her to pass right in the middle, I will get that shot with the camera settings. And that's pretty much what happened here. I just waited for her to stand right in front or walk by right in front, and I had my camera at the ready with the right focus level. The bottom middle is Bit Brigade. This is at DC9. This is, again, another venue you don't need to have a photo pass for. You can just bring your camera if you have a ticket. So with Bit Brigade, because I wanted to get not just the band, but also the speedrunner and also the game behind, I crouched a little bit for this shot. So like I use your eyes. If I stood at normal eye level, I would not have captured the photo this way. This is crouched down at the eye level of the speedrunner. And you can see that I am still capturing the guitarist on the left. Is that a bass player on the left? I think it's a bass player on the left, I'm not sure. But the two band members to the left and right of the monitor, and the drummer, and the screen. That was a conscious effort to try to like, okay, where do I need to be? Moving a couple of inches is the difference between a well-composed shot and a fine shot. So this is, again, like a tip. Use your eyes, crouch, move to the left, move to the right if you need to. You don't need to be front and center for your favorite shots.
You're saying use your eyes, but I feel like I should expand. I think, could I say what you're wanting to say is look out of the viewfinder.
Yes,
like
don't use your camera.
Look at the whole scenario. And I think for people who have already done photography here, it's kind of like the difference between looking through the viewfinder and looking at the screen. Sometimes you just feel like you get the whole picture when you're like this with the camera instead of like this, and that can be helpful for concert photography because you need to be aware of the periphery. You know, something big might be happening over here, about to happen, but because you're looking here, you're gonna miss this person sprinting this way to kiss the other person, you know? So I think, use your eyes, guys, come on.
I also, I shot that photo in the Bit Brigade photo on a Canon 6D. Remember we talked about like cheap cameras to start with? We did start with a Canon 6D, and that photo was taken with a Canon 6D at a venue that anyone can go without a photo pass. So that is to say, I wanted to include this photo specifically, not just because it's MAGFest and we all love Bit Brigade, but because like this, you can do this with the gear, with some cheap full frame gear right now if you wanted to.
Yeah.
And photo on the right is Justice. I love Justice. They are one of the bands that were on my bucket list until last year. And I just, again, needed to move myself a little bit to the right. This is not front and center. If I was front and center, they would be, separately looking that way. But by moving a little bit to the right in front of the guy on the right, until I get the other guy like right, it looking like you can see his face, it's not covered, getting them in a nice vertical shot. That is another good example of just like use the space you have to frame the shot.
Yeah, because if you had been too much to the left, they'd be overlapping. So like not being afraid to just shuffle a little, like move your body, and that's another thing that you'll learn as you shoot with prime. If you want to challenge yourself, using prime lenses is good because then you have to physically move yourself if you want a different distance. So, just a thought.
All right. I don't think everyone loves this, but I love this. Silhouette shots. It's a little bit harder to pull off depending on the lighting situation, but with the right editing and with the right camera settings, you can get a really cool interplay between the light and dark. And I'm not talking just about like full-on silhouettes. I'm just talking about the contrast that we see here. So for example, is this Charlie X yet? Wait, who's
yeah. Oh, in the middle on the top.
Oh, middle is Charlie X.
Charlie XCX. And sometimes all you have to work with is silhouettes. Sometimes the artist does not want to be perceived that night, and they will just throw haze everywhere. So your only option is a silhouette. Yeah. So sometimes you just have to do it like that. But I remember the photo on the right is churches, and this was when I was very new. I think this was actually the first festival I shot, and I remember turning to my mentor and being like, "Can I deliver this? Like, is this a good photo?" And he was like, "Yeah, it's a beautiful photo." I was so concerned that you couldn't see her face, so therefore it was irrelevant. But no, in this field, you can just make art, and it's still okay.
Yeah, what'll happen a lot with silhouette shots is that you'll have a really overpowered light in front of you sometimes. That, like for example, the bottom middle, this is Air. And they had it was really dark just before this photo, And then it got really, really bright, and I was like, oh, crap. And then I had to like dial the settings really quickly on my camera so I can get just the right amount of light and then just the right amount of shadow. And then a little bit of editing in Lightroom afterwards made it pop a lot. And you see it in the left photo, actually, like also just like a very crisp edit. And again, we won't get into editing, but this, knowing how the clarity sliders work, your highlights, your blacks, your shadows, your whites in Lightroom, they can help you make a really dramatic looking photo like this on the left.
It's so funny. I feel like when we made this presentation, we're like, let's not be too technical. And here we are like, in the left upper third, the highlight of the... So hopefully
this is
we're
as technical as I'll get.
The clarity slider at 23.5.
The 201's panels next year. Bring your laptop.
Yeah, take notes. There'll be a quiz at the end.
Yeah, that's all I want to say on that.
Okay. Fan and festival shots. This is my world. So we wanted to also highlight why it's important to capture what's happening off stage. Sometimes just literally turning around and being like, oh, there's 1,000 people here watching this artist. It's a great opportunity to capture that emotion, not just for the festival, but also for the artists themselves, because they're going to look back like they're so busy DJing, they're so busy making music that sometimes they don't get to like pause and look out. And I feel like that's when you see those TikToks and reels where the artist actually just stops and looks and they're like, oh, this is my life. Sometimes they don't get that opportunity. So capturing that moment for them is really special. What else did I want to say about this?
I'll add this one. When the bottom left photo is Turnstile at 930 Club, Baltimore hardcore band. I love them. I've seen them a lot. This was my first time shooting them, but I knew the energy was going to be crazy because Turnstile is a crazy band. So this was, I think, maybe the very first song. And as much as I really wanted to focus on the singer, because he jumps a lot for those of you that have seen them, but the fans go just as crazy. And so I wanted to capture that first moment of like energy from everyone. Like everyone's been pent up waiting to see this band, and this is their first bit. And so this was a wider angle shot at the 930 Club before I got crowd surfed into. There were, to the left and right of me, 2 security guards. There were a bunch of security guards lining the photo pit for this one.
And they were just laughing at you as you crowd surfed?
They do their job. They're great. They like will tap my shoulder and be like, someone's about, like, you got to move. And I'll be like, okay, I don't want to die today. But yeah, just turn the camera around sometimes. I think it'll depend on the show. Sometimes it'll be a chill show, but I think if you can sense the energy, turn the camera around.
Yeah, and if you're shooting for the artist is gonna probably ask you in the trailer. They'll be like, how was it? And you may not know because you were doing your job too. So you'd be like, oh, people loved it. Here, look. Like you can actually show them. Yeah, and then also if you're shooting for a festival, so if you're on a festival team, it can be your job to get people smiling. That's like the whole thing. So the top left photo is at Firefly, and I told people, hey, can I take a picture of you guys? And I had them run through this big, what is it called? An art form? Exhibit? I don't know. But my job is to get happy people doing happy things. So Firefly can sell happy tickets, but I guess that, well, maybe that didn't work out so well. But yeah, sometimes that's just your job. Same thing with activations, like the bottom right photo. I didn't take that one, but this is a photo booth for a sponsor. I
was going to mention if we want to explain what activations are.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, activations. It's like when Red Bull has a booth, or when what's the new one? Beatbox. They might have like a claw machine, or you get a chew toy for your dog, and it's a beatbox. Like they are sponsors for the event, and so the festivals make deals with the sponsors that they will get a gallery of photos after the festival for them to post to socials. So it can sometimes be your job to do that. And honestly, when you're starting out on festival teams, we'll talk more about the choose your own adventure, but starting out, you may not even be assigned to a stage. You might just be literally assigned to like the Red Bull tent, and you have to shoot the Red Bull tent. And that's fine. And you smile and you say thank you, because next year you're not going to shoot the Red Bull tent. You're going to shoot something better. So, yeah, many things.
All right. So again, not getting technical this year, but editing is half the battle. Like I said, composing, you can only compose a shot at the time. But you also want to make sure that you're looking at your photos. Not every photo that seems like it's unsalvageable when you first look at your computer is actually unsalvageable. I've looked at photos on my computer as recently as this past month, and I was like, oh crap, this doesn't look good. And then I go through Lightroom and edit it, and I was like, oh, actually it wasn't that bad. It's actually my favorite photo now. This is an example of okay lighting. This is Glenn Hansard at the Anthem, and I wanted to show, this goes back to the emotion thing. Like, this man is an amazing singer. His head's going into the air, like the light's kind of just like a strong light on him. So I wanted to make it just like a strong black and white, crispy photo. There's a lot of different ways to edit photos. Every photo you've seen online has gone through some level of editing. I would encourage everyone to learn how your different sliders in Lightroom or Darktable or whatever work. The way I started learning how to edit was I bought a bunch of Lightroom presets. There's online, you can buy like pre-made presets for different kinds. I think I bought one just about concert photography. I don't know if it's still around anymore, but you can find some. And what happens is that you click that preset and it does a bunch of changes for you on the fly, and you can see every change that happens, but you kind of start decomposing it. It's like, okay, what happened with this preset? Why did it make it look so good? Oh, I see that it moved the black slider to the left. I see it moved the contrast to the right. I see the color curves change a little bit. The clarity. We won't talk about all these this year, but there's just a lot of different presets that you can start learning from. Move things around, see how they work, and eventually what you're going to have is a bunch of variations on those presets you originally bought. I bought like 10 presets, and now I have like 200 plus. And all of them came from permutations of presets that I made before. And now I have 930 Club Blue Light 1, like U Street Music Hall Purple Light 5, or U Street's not around anymore, but like you get what I'm saying, like different purple light settings, different yellow light settings, different black and white settings that focus on the yellow light to make it dramatic. So there's just a lot of things you can do. It's half the battle. I will also caveat, we were talking about this earlier, don't just rely on turning your photo black and white to make it
Please.
a good photo.
Whatever you do.
Don't just press the black and white and call it a day.
I will find you.
Yeah, this requires a little bit of like knowledge of how the sliders work and all that. Like I said, learn how your presets work. There are also good black and white presets on the internet. Buy those, play with the settings, see how they affect your photos. But yeah, don't just press the auto button. Don't just press the black and white button. This is not that.
The auto button, which usually never does the thing that we want it to do, you mean?
The auto button never
the
helps.
broken auto button.
Okay, I won't say never, but like, just buy, I'd say start with presets. Buy some presets online.
I also will say, to add on to that, so my major was in film and my minor is in photography, and I am so grateful that I learned how to find true white and true black in an image, how to get the correct white balance. And I think that's really, really important and kind of what will set you apart from other photographers. Maybe I'm a little snobby, but I think you should be able to get perfect white balance in all of your images. And there's a way to do this also if you're colorblind. It's actually like a science. For those of you who are photographers, RGB, the color wheels, like there is I should know the word for it. Histogram. Oh, he knows. We're professionals, I swear. Where you line up red, green, and blue, and you will find true white and true black. And there's tutorials on YouTube that will teach you how to do this. Unfortunately, I paid lots of money to learn, but I loved it. It was fun.
And that's as technical as we're getting for the rest of the panel.
Yes, that's it. Basically, make art, make cool art.
Make mistakes.
But learn the rules before you break them. I think that's like my thought about it. Learn how to get the perfect professional photo that would be printed on a magazine, and then mess with it. You can and then make it artsy, make it your own. It also depends on the client.
I think it'd also be fair to ask for advice. Just say like, hey, how would you edit this photo? I've seen like challenges online where like, here's a raw photo. Let's see how everyone edits it. I always like seeing those because you start seeing someone's artistic style.
Yeah.
Some people can do really straightforward, like kind of photojournalistic. You're not messing too much with the colors, but then you have some people that are doing very crazy things like changing the colors completely, just based on the photo. So like making it like this is maybe turning it like purple or something. So yeah, there's just a lot of ways that you can learn how to edit, just also by asking others, like how would you edit this photo? Like what do you think? Oh, you could just make it's a little overblown, like bring the brightness down, or the color's a little weird. I'd say it's okay to learn. Even in my stage now, sometimes I'll just be like, what do you like, this edit or this edit?
Yeah,
so
it depends on the client too. I don't know if it's still this way, but for Insomniac photo team, at one point they just love that sparkle filter. They were like, everyone use the sparkle filter on everything. And is that good? I don't think so, but for a time. In some situations, it looks great. For every photo, for every post, I don't know.
Mid-2010s Instagram was a time.
Oh, yes. Okay, we talked a lot. Oh, my goodness. Okay, choose your next adventure. So in the spirit of MAGFest, we have created a MAGFest way of dissecting the different roles that you can have within this field. And we ran into this when we were building this because we do two different things, but we had the same title. We're both technically music photographers, concert photographers, but we just have completely different experiences. So, text, lots of reading, sorry.
All right, so the two I'm going to focus on are music publications and venues. So the first gig long term that I snagged after shooting my first concert was a music blog. I don't know if anyone here remembers the Hype Machine, but thank you for those millennials in the room. But it was how I found a lot of music, and I found a lot of DC area blogs that were on the Hype Machine. And I reached out to one of them saying, hey, I want to shoot for you. Here's my portfolio. We'll talk about pitching yourself in the next slide. But that was who I shot for I want to say 7 years. Generally, how this works is you will be on the music publication team, and you'll either be providing a gallery of photos from the show or a gallery and a write-up of the show. It depends on the venue. It sometimes depends on the artist, too, because you'll have to be working with the artist's PR firm. So what I do is I would say, hey, I'm Mauricio. I'm shooting for chunkyglasses.com. That was the site, RIP. And I want to shoot Orville Peck at the Anthem or 930 Club. And here's an example of our work, and can we get a photo pass? And they'll say yes or no. Be prepared to get a no. You're not always going to get the photo pass for the show that you want. But if you're shooting smaller venues like the DC9s, the Songbirds of the world, more often than not, you'll be able to snag a photo pass. But yeah, you can shoot for small music blogs like Chunky Glasses. You can also shoot for bigger music sites like Rolling Stone or Stereo Gum. Or you can shoot for big publications that like dailies like the Washington Post or the New York Times. With the bigger the publication gets, the more critical the turnaround time is. Like for example, I shot a show for the Washington Post a few months ago, at the Atlantis, and they wanted the photos the next morning. Because they are getting a writer to shoot or to write about the show. It was Geese. It was Geese at 930 Club, sorry. But yeah, they just wanted the photos the next day because they wanted to write a story on Geese. But also, it's with the music blog, it's kind of just like, I've sometimes been lazy and I don't deliver the photos until like a week or two after. But usually those are like lower stakes because they're smaller music blogs. So yeah, your experience will vary with turnaround time. But usually it's always the first 3 songs in the photo pit with the music publications. The same thing goes if you are on the venue team. So you can join your local venue's photo team. A lot of venues have a photo team. For example, IMP, which runs the 930 Club, the Atlantis, Merriweather Post Pavilion, the Anthem. They have a single photo team that you can join. And then what they'll do is they'll put a monthly Google form saying, here are all the shows coming up at all of our venues this month. Put in your name if you want to shoot any of these. Again, don't expect that you're going to get the show that you want, because there could be a lot of photographers And I think the IMP photo staff, there's definitely a few dozen photographers
It's big
in
now.
that team.
I think that listserv is like 70 people. Maybe it's more than 70 people.
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't get cat's eye. I wanted to shoot cat's eye.
You didn't get cat's eye? Oh, damn.
I wanted to shoot that.
Mike did. Oh,
I
sucks.
know. And then he delivered a blurry photo. We're going to
But
talk
yeah,
about
so yeah, you'll be shooting, again, the first 3 songs of a show. Sometimes you'll get the entire show, but generally the venue photographers are under the same rule as the music publication photographers, meaning that you'll shoot the same songs they will. And sometimes it could be paid. Like, for example, I think Live Nation, which runs the Fillmore in Silver Spring, and a couple of other venues, they're Live Nation, they're paid. Others are unpaid but include extra benefits and free tickets for other shows. Yeah, they're just, it's a good way to shoot shows if you like the shows generally at a specific venue. And again, the turnaround time, not as strict as something like a Washington Post where you can do it within 2 or 3 days or a week, and then you just upload it to, 930 Club specifically has a Flickr page of Flickr albums that you upload to there, but it'll vary. But you'll just be expected to have to be professional with how you deliver your photos, like edit them well and be timely, all that stuff.
I want to add on to the paid versus unpaid. I will say I feel like this is one of those careers that does not pay until it does. So you should probably like it. You should. Very often in the beginning, you will not be paid very well, but once you have your portfolio and connections and network, that's when you can make money. Even then, do I think it's mind-blowing, show-stopping, starving artist vibe? But there are people, you can tour with artists, you can be part of festival teams, and you'll be booked a lot. So at the end, it does add up, and you can make, I would say, an okay living. It can happen, but don't expect big bucks out the gate, unfortunately, I think. Okay, so I'll talk about shooting for the artist. So for music publications and venue, you typically only get to shoot the first 3 songs. If you're shooting for the artist, obviously you have to shoot their whole set. And this is either someone on tour with them, so they might have a photographer with them, or they will hire you locally, or their photographer will hire you locally to shoot with them. So many different ways you can shoot for an artist. And the turnaround time is very fast because obviously an artist wants to post, "Thank you guys so much for coming. I had so much fun." So it's usually next day. I've done same day before. It's a fun challenge. And that's part of it too. I think the adrenaline of how quickly can I get this edit out, like how can I build the hype? Because when you work for artists, you're also like bolstering them and supporting them, so you want to see them do well. And when you work together like that, it's a fun dance. So, and then for festivals, if you want to be on teams, you usually get assigned to a specific stage or to sponsor activations, like I was saying, like the Red Bull tent, or like crowds instead of specific artists. In my experience, you can request a stage. You may not always get it. And then for festivals, sometimes you're literally shooting and then running back to the trailer and editing. And I think that's most of the time what you'll be doing. And sometimes maybe the social media manager for the team will tell you, "Hey, we need photos of this person right after their set, so can you come back right after?" And I think this is why festival teams are very elite, is because you're trained in shooting, getting the shot, going back, editing, delivering, going back out. It's very fast-paced and requires you to be able to lock in happily.
Yeah, yeah.
Am I starting this one?
Yep, our last slide. And then Q&A, if we have time.
Wait, really? We did that? Oh my gosh. Okay. Oh yeah, we should go fast. Pitch yourself. Okay. Build your portfolio. I use Pixie Set. That's also how I deliver my photos to my clients because it's pretty. Look, happy gallery. They can scroll. There's folders. It looks nice. Also posting on Instagram, TikTok. I highly recommend, even though does anyone else feel like Instagram is dying a bit? I don't know. Yeah. I still think you should post to Instagram, and I think because when you're shooting for either a festival, venue, artist, the first thing their manager is going to do is look at your Instagram and give it 10 seconds of look and decide if you know what you're doing or not. That can happen. So having your Instagram looking the way you want it to kind of is like the first gateway to who you are.
And then network. Share your portfolio with people, talk to people on site. If you are shooting a festival and there's a bazillion photographers, go say hi. You can make friends. You can also make friends you can yap with and challenge each other. And you also just never know who you're going to meet. The first festival I ever shot, I met my mentor there, and he kickstarted my entire photography career and is one of my best friends. You just never know who you're going to meet. So,
I will say that for pitching yourself, a Flickr album, and I talked with the 930 Club staff and the Union Stage staff before this for those that are local. So I talked with the people who manage the photographers at the venues here. A Flickr album is more than okay to pitch yourself. You can just put your favorite photos in an album if you want, and then just say, these are the photos that represent me, and I'm going to use this to link to 930 Club when I reach out saying, hey, I'm Mauricio, I'm a photographer in the area, and I'd love to be a part of your photography team. Here's a link to my portfolio. You have your favorite images from the shows that you've shot. And again, it can just be all your DC9 and Songbird shows, all your small venue shows that you've shot over time. I think also it's okay to show, if you haven't shot that many concerts, a couple of just like nice non-concert photos, just to show that you have the technique to be a good photographer, that you just haven't had the ability to prove yourself in the pit. But I think for these venues, if you're going to reach out to be a venue photographer or an artist photographer, and definitely an artist or festival photographer, you'll want to have a portfolio of good concert images.
yeah. And sorry for giving you crap about Flickr. I was like, who uses Flickr? Apparently, a lot of people still. So don't listen to me.
I didn't even know what Pixie Set was until we started working on this presentation.
See, our lore is completely different, but we have the same title. This is why this field is insane.
Yeah.
Anyway. Thanks, guys. Ask us things.
If you want to ask us anything, please go ahead. The microphone's right over here if you want to stand up and talk into the mic.
Maybe that's speed run. Line up behind the mic.
Hi, thanks for putting this right here so I can just stare both of you directly in the eyes.
Hi.
Yeah.
Just a quick question. Other than you guys, obviously, what are some photographers that you guys think are like the top of the field that we can look up and like learn and study from?
Ooh, look up Alive Coverage. Alive. I think their Instagram is Alive Co.
Mhm.
They have a chokehold on the entire festival photography. And they also shoot the Super Bowl. They shoot F1. Insane work, and it's so clean. Those are the guys that shoot. Those are all my mentors. They're absolutely insane. So good. Alive Coverage.
I was going to mention a couple of I want to have a slide of some favorite photographers. I feel biased because some of them have become my really, really good friends. I think one of my favorites in the area is, unfortunately, one of my close friends, Mike Kim. But he has a very long or kind of weirdly spelled Instagram name. But I really like Mike's photography. It's Mike, oh gosh, my internet here is bad. There's Mike with 3 E's. Mike E Kimchi is one of my local favorites. Yeah, I'm biased, but I think he is a great photographer. I also think the 930 Club has a Instagram page called It's My Photo DC, and that is like the 930 Club IMP's photographer account where they're showing off photos from local photographers. So that is a great place to like just see what other photographers for the venue staff are doing, and you can follow them from there. My photos have been featured in there because I shoot for 930 Club. Not to brag, but there's just a lot of really, really great photographers.
Also, the Alive Coverage is Alive Co. Co. One word.
ALIVECO.
Yes. Okay, we should take more questions quickly.
I guess whether it's like benefits or pay, do you guys find yourself negotiating a lot with who's hiring you?
Oh yeah.
Festival team, no. Well, yeah, no, because it's usually set. But artist, yes.
It also depends on like the venue sometimes. I used to shoot for the Kennedy Center until about a year ago when something happened. And I remember I was starting to shoot for them, and I got a rate was like higher than my normal, but I thought that because I'm shooting a little bit longer events like orchestras, that I could bump it up a little bit, and they were fine. And with some local organizations that I've shot non-concert stuff, like if you put a higher estimate, they're not immediately going to say no. Sometimes they can, but I think it's just it's a dancing game of what's your rate, what's your budget. Like, you know, I don't think there's an exact science, but I usually start with a relatively high number. But again, this is because like we have a little bit more experience. I think if you're starting out, like even if you were trying to build your portfolio and only at the starting stages, shoot for free. But as you build your portfolio,
Do not do that.
yeah,
later.
don't do it longer term. But if you need a place to like get kick-started, I would say start with the venues that you can bring your PhotoPass. But yeah, like just it's just you'll realize over time the cost of your gear,
Yeah.
the cost of the editing equipment,
Your time.
and then you'll factor that in.
Your knees,
yeah.
your ankles, your sleep apnea.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, you guys.
Do you
Since
wanna come-
it's
do you wanna come up to the mic just for.
yeah.
Yeah, if you could say it.
There you go.
You can go first.
Oh, okay. So this is more of I joined a local band in Phoenix recently on the basis.
Nice.
Cool.
So what can I do for the photographers to make your things look awesome and your job easier?
I've had situations where the tour manager will tell me, "Oh, this song, like you got to watch out for
Yeah.
this song."
Give us your set list.
And
your
yeah, sometimes I'll
times.
just talk with the artist, be like, "Hey, what's your favorite song?" And they'll tell me. And this goes into the split second shot thing earlier, where I say, "Okay, good. So I'm going to lock in on you for this one." And also, just like you know, as an artist, you want to show that you're having fun on stage. Like it's a two-way street. Like look, you want to just show some emotion, also not just do this. You know, that's less fun than like, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
So when I see you in my face, like,
Yeah.
If you want. I mean,
That's always a fun
be
one. That's always a
authentic
great
to
one.
yourself too. You don't have to like go crazy for the camera, but yeah. Okay.
I have a two-part question. What exposure mode do you use? Like, do you shutter priority, aperture priority, or full manual?
Manual.
And then,
Manual.
Okay. And then also, how do you get a good exposure when you're in like a dark room and there's just random stage lights just pointing in whichever direction?
The lights can change a lot at a show, and sometimes I have quick dial settings on my camera when I'm shooting. I don't know if you do, but like,
I just try to use an exposure mode that is focused on so instead of like a wide exposure, or capturing the exposure of the entire environment, just the exposure of the subject. And that's super important because if you're getting the whole thing and it's like, oh, the crowd's really dark, let's expose for the crowd, then your subject will be blown out. So choosing a mode that matches what's going on.
yeah. I think
like
we have
1
time for
minute.
one more
Oh my
question.
gosh.
Okay, last question. And we'll be in the outside if you
Yeah,
want to
we'll
talk.
loiter. We'll loiter.
I got to exit the room, but
Well, thank y'all again for doing this. This was great. I
course.
myself, I do event photography, but I want to segue to this. What is the best way, like, to go? Would you say just doing like the freelancing after time, if you still have to keep doing this, like something similar in the field?
I think you would probably have a good portfolio to show that you are proficient in like low light situations and like split second. Like events are all about like capturing the right moment.
Yeah, because it's corporate events. It's
Yeah.
Sometimes those corporate events will have big artists though.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I had one at the Anthem and their surprise guest was Macklemore. And it's like, oh, okay, cool, free concert. And that's now concert photography.
Yeah, I think it just goes pitching yourself and just like, you know, if you bring your camera to a venue just to try it out.
Okay.
I think like just having a good breadth of event photos and concert photos is, I think, attractive to an artist because especially if you're doing like festival shots or artist shots, like they don't just want the action on stage, they want the stuff after,
Yeah,
you know?
and before like the green room when they're like taking a shot
And that's
or when
very
they're taking
similar.
a family photo. Yeah, so you're in the right world.
Cool, thank you.
Yeah. All right. Well, if anyone wants to chat afterwards, we'll be outside. But thank you all so much for coming.
Yeah, thank you guys.